Councilmember Canonico.
I'm going to be wordy for a minute here. I want to explain my vote. And I found myself unable to talk at our last meeting due to some emotional news I received. But when I ran for office in 2021, I ran on a policy platform of making Fort Collins work better for residents by facilitating more affordable housing, increasing transit, bike infrastructure, and the walkability of Fort Collins. I ran it on a platform of doing what I could to promote climate-forward policies, but the most important issue I ran on was ensuring the future of Fort Collins. And in my view, all of those values, those policy commitments are captured in this land use update. And I'd like to outline some of the ways the land use code will do that, and in particular to highlight the data out there that's informed my decision. The Denver Post today ran a piece that highlighted that Colorado now has the 4 most expensive non-coastal housing markets in this country, with Fort Collins ranking number 3. In Fort Collins, the price to income ratio for housing has gone from 4 to 1 in 2000 to 7 to 1 currently. It's the second highest of the non-coastal markets. One reason for the unaffordability pointed out in the article is supply limited by zoning and regulations. We've heard repeatedly the misconception that supply and density don't equal affordability, but the data shows it does. For example, just this week a study came out that showed rents in Oakland have fallen faster than anywhere else in the U.S. for a simple reason. The city allowed more housing to be built. Rental prices have fallen there by 7.2% in the last year, and it's the largest drop in any of the U.S. 100 largest cities. The impetus for the increased supply was a slew of statewide laws in California requiring localities to build sufficient housing and to remove some of the barriers to construction. In another study, Pew Research found the same in 4 other communities: Minneapolis, New Rochelle, New York, Portland, Oregon, and Tysons, Virginia. New zoning rules to allow more housing have helped curtail rental growth. This finding supports the argument that updating zoning to allow more housing can improve affordability. Additionally, a study by Upjohn Institute found that building 100 new market-priced units opened up the equivalent of 70 units in neighborhoods earning below the area's median income. Increasing supply benefits affordability. Looking at the many communities that have allowed ADUs in Colorado and across the country, we generally are seeing low numbers being built. For example, in Loveland, there's only been 45 built since they loosened zoning restrictions. ADUs probably won't solve our affordable housing challenges, but they will provide another housing choice for those who want it. And again, the research shows that increasing houses choices leads to greater affordability. We've heard concerns about possible adverse environmental impact of denser housing. The data shows something different. I sit on a local government advisory board and a climate mitigation work group for the EPA. And the recommendation that group is making to the EPA is that the EPA can support human health and the environment by supporting local governments, highlighting zoning changes and permitting processes that make it easier to adopt climate-smart land use and development patterns, and that the research is clear: land use drives emissions. Compact development, such as infill development, helps to preserve green and open space and creates walkable communities that can reduce vehicle miles traveled by 20 to 40%, as shown by an Urban Land Institute study funded by the EPA. Greater density also means better transit and better bike infrastructure, and it helps to make that make economic sense. To support express bus service, minimum average densities for the corridor should be about 15 units per acre, and as densities increase, ridership increases as well. I also want to point out that this updated land use code has been shifted from the repealed code. The city has rolled back many aspects of the LDC in response to what we've heard from the community. Even last meeting, we removed duplexes in the RL that was part of this land use code. This code represents compromise and engagement with the community. I want to see a bright and vibrant future for the current residents of our city, and most importantly, for our children, for our grandchildren, and for their children. And what I see is what's best for our community and for our children is this land use code that will allow families to live well in our city today and into the future, and will fulfill the campaign promises I made to my district in 2021. Thanks.